Thanks for downloading this episode from Teachers Talk Radio. You can find the full schedule and listen back to all our shows at ttradio.org. Enjoy the podcast.
This show is brought to you in partnership with Hachette Learning, publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. Level up your professional development today and visit hachetlearning.com to explore the full range of titles.
Teachers, have you heard of Bet UK 2026? It's the world's biggest education and technology event, and it's completely free for educators. From keynote speakers and panel sessions to CPD accredited workshops and networking, Bet UK 2026 is where educators from across the globe come together to share ideas, spark inspiration, and find solutions that fuel our mission to drive better education globally. Get your free ticket today at betshow.com.
And good evening to Dubai listeners. Good afternoon to my UK listeners. You are listening to Teachers Talk Radio, and I'm your host, Famida Choudhary, today. For today's episode here, we have Sam Burns, who is like amazing. When I read about you, Sam, I really wanted to know how you do this. Like, do you have a magical wand or something? So I really wanted to know from how we can start, know more details of your journey, because when I read, it was like from being skeptical about ESL songs to creating music that doubles your teaching impact. That's like a full circle story. So once again, Sam, please go ahead and tell us like how this journey actually began.
Sure, of course. And thanks for having me here. I'm also quite surprised at what I'm doing right now. It took me a long time to get to where I actually like music. I wouldn't have imagined it. I grew up in a family that didn't like music. We're not very musical, and because we weren't good at it, we just kind of laugh it off and avoid it as much as possible. And so as I grew up, I didn't like any types of kids music. But one song that was infamous, my mom used to always play, is a math song. And it'd go, 1 + 1 is 1 + 1 is 2. Like this is from 20 years ago, and I hated it. But there it is. I can actually still sing it. But so
yes,
I didn't like it
it's
at
stuck
all.
in your mind yet.
Exactly. And then when I started teaching English, I'd get these, big name curriculums, super popular. They put their textbooks around the whole world, and they would have these really terrible songs at the beginning of every unit. I'm sure you can relate. The songs were too complex for kids, and I'm mostly talking about kids today. It does apply to adults too, but in a slightly different way. And then those songs weren't really enjoyable. They'd watch like a Disney movie and have these really nice songs, and then they'd come to class and have this really boring song. They didn't like it.
Yes.
They didn't like it. I didn't like it. And it didn't really get good results. So I just left music out as much as possible, kind of like in the trash can. But then something really changed when I switched schools, and I went to a school that focused on kids. And it was EF in China. And a handful of their courses had lots of songs, but they had the same mistakes. And then there was this one course that was completely different. I don't know what they did or what changed their mind, but they made the songs extremely simple, and they made the content of the songs not just related to the unit, but actually the unit itself. Because often you get these ESL songs, it's like, this is a song about brushing your teeth, but it doesn't actually use the language of, brush your teeth, spit in the sink, stuff like that. It's like, I like brushing my teeth. I do, it's not that great. So what they did was
I would rather look at it like when you said that brush your teeth, and these songs would only look at basic vocabulary, or it could be a few words that they would actually concentrate on.
Are you asking those types of songs I was talking about?
Yeah. I mean to say, you said that they just used to look at a few words. That's it. The lyrics, basically, not looking at your curriculum part of it.
The songs that they had were the target language of the unit. So if the target language is what do you do in the morning, and then it's like I get up in the morning, it wouldn't say anything like, hey, I like getting up in the morning. My mom calls to me. It's none of
Okay.
that. The
Okay.
song is literally, what do you do in the morning? I get up, I brush my teeth, and I get dressed. What do you do in the morning? So literally just the target vocabulary with the target language, grammar, dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
into one song. So you're
Okay.
basically singing the unit.
Mm.
Yeah. So I wasn't excited to use songs when I came to that school, but they said I had to, so I did. And then by the
Okay.
time I left that school, using those specific songs, it was so powerful. I started using them in every lesson, and actually, it was so effective that my classes were learning really fast. I was finishing a 6 unit lesson by
Mm.
lesson six lesson unit. I got that backwards. A 6 lesson unit in 3 lessons.
Mm.
And then but because of the schedule, I had to keep going, and I ran out of things to teach, and I created a new problem for myself. I had to like teach them more stuff that I wasn't ready for. And
Ah.
then when I left that school and I started writing my own curriculum, it was set in my mind, I want the same thing to happen with my curriculum. So I started writing lyrics, but I still wasn't musical at all. I didn't know people who could do anything musical. But then when I
Mm-hmm.
learned that I could pay other people to make music for me, then it
Mm-hmm.
just is like a fire, just instantly got lit. And then this new passion of mine became one of my huge focuses.
Amazing. So, Sam, when you mentioned this thing like right kind of music can do half of the teaching for you, so what do you mean by that? Like, how can a song actually teach vocabulary or grammar
Yeah.
naturally?
That's a great question. And there's a good reason to be skeptical, right? It sounds like a ridiculous claim. But I mean it when I say it.
Hmm.
Um, when I started liking these songs, I did something different than the rest of the school. I started using the unit song as the introduction to the unit, lesson 1. I started with the song. I didn't even teach vocabulary or grammar yet. I was like, we're going to start with the song.
Song.
And I taught the students to repeat after me and act out the motions if they could, if there's TPR available, before I taught the other things. Within 10 minutes, you'd be amazed. Kids can sing things they don't understand. We all can sing things we don't understand. So they'd be singing
Absolutely.
along to the song, not really knowing what's going on, but they like it. It's nice. And that is, of course, if this is the right type of music that is aligned to the unit that you're focusing on.
Hmm.
So then by the time I got to teach the vocabulary, which was usually right after that song, they
Hmm.
were already used to hearing the words over and over and producing the sounds, forming the words with their mouths and
Hmm.
acting it out a little bit. So when I taught them the vocabulary, it was like a breeze. They got it instantly, almost instantly. I mean, there's always slow learners, but even the slow learners caught on faster this way. So I don't want to get too technical,
Hmm.
but words have 3 parts, the way I see it. I don't like big technical terms, but I see it as 3 parts. There's the sounds to the word,
Hmm.
there's the meaning of the word, and then there's the connection between the two.
Between
So
the
you
two.
have to be able to associate the sounds to the meaning. What the song does, it helps them master the sounds. They hear the sounds and they produce the sounds. And now, if you help them with the sounds, then when you show the meaning with a flashcard, for example, and you associate those sounds with the picture on the flashcard, you're connecting the sounds they were already good at with a meaning that they already understand, and the connection becomes strong right away. If you start with the flashcards, which is what we normally do, and there's nothing wrong with it, you're
Yeah.
you're introducing the sounds and the connection to the meaning at the same time, and it's a bit more of an overload.
Hmm.
It can be messy to try to get them to associate the right sounds to the right meanings. By splitting it in half, you're kind of giving them a easy step and then another easy step instead of a big step. Now, grammar is formed by relationships between words and word order. Just to
Got
put
it.
it simply, again, I like
Yeah.
simple stuff. You
Hmm.
can you can teach
Me too.
rules. Yeah, good, good. You can teach rules until you and your students are blue in the face, but that doesn't mean anything.
Nothing.
Grammar is learned by repetition, and the rules are there to help guide that repetition. So
Hmm.
when you hear something the right way hundreds of times, then you hear someone say it a different way, you feel that it's wrong. And
It's
that's
raw.
really what we want our students to have, right?
Yes.
So the way that we learn grammar is through accurate repetition. Now, if the songs are written well, then
Mm.
that's exactly what you're getting. You're getting accurate repetition, and it's very memorable. So when you hear the song, they practice those grammar structures in those sentences, even if they don't know what it means. They're practicing the rhythm and the sounds in the right order, even the amount of syllables.
Accuracy. Mm. Mm.
Yes, yes. So then when you get to teaching the grammar point, let's say if you're teaching a singular, the difference between singular and plural is
Sure.
and are, and what nouns get is and what nouns get are, then it snaps instantly with the learners because they've heard those two structures. It's been ringing in their heads from the song. So you're basically just explaining the thing that their brain is already working on. That reduces the amount of grammatical errors they make because they have the right thing in their head. And then for you as the teacher, it's making that grammar presentation stage a whole lot easier. It solidifies quicker. So it's
Yes.
kind of like simulating the way we learn our L1s, our native language. As a
Correct.
baby, we just hear the correct form of language if our
Language.
parents are speaking
Mm.
accurate language. We just hear it over and over and over in life, not knowing at all what it means for years. It depends on when you start speaking, sometimes a year, sometimes 2 years. And then one day when someone like our mom will hold out a ball to us and say, ball, ball, it's like, oh, I've been hearing these sounds for a long time and now I can associate it with that thing. And we learn it quite quickly.
Hmm.
Now, I do want to clarify something because I'm
Yeah.
afraid people might walk away with the wrong idea when I say, music does half the teaching for you. I'm not saying that because I've seen this done many times and it like boils my blood. I'm not saying that you can play a song and then do a dance and then the learners magically learn everything and you just like sit back and you're not a teacher anymore. Like that's
No,
not at all what I'm saying. I'm not
absolutely
advocating
no,
that. I'm talking about the amount of teaching effort you put in. So
no.
um, you should still follow proper lesson stages and good teaching methodology. But when you use a well aligned song to help you in that process, the amount of effort you put in drops tremendously because the song engages them and it
Mm.
starts instilling the language into them without you having to do it. You can say ball 100 times and your throat gets sore, or they could enjoy hearing and saying the word ball to a song and you give your throat a break. They learn it faster and easier with the music. So it's taking a burden off the teacher's shoulders,
Hmm.
and it makes the teaching process a lot smoother. So I'm not claiming that good ESL music replaces good teaching. I'm saying
Yes.
more it's
It's
like
complementary.
steroids. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's like
complementing
steroids.
each
If you
other.
take
Yes.
this might be controversial, but if you take steroids and you don't gym, you
Hmm.
don't get like super strong. But if you take steroids and gym, then you get
Hmm.
these huge effects, which I wouldn't recommend. But
Hmm.
you can see it like ESL steroids if you want to. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. But Sam, according to like listening, after listening to you, I have two queries, like two questions basically to
Mm-hmm.
ask. One is with when you say, like, I do agree with the fact that when the song is repeatedly heard and in the correct grammatical structure is there and phrases, so that would help them retrieve what they've been hearing and support teachers. My concern would be more of I know there are many songs done for learning letters and sounds basically,
Mm-hmm.
especially for the little ones I'm talking about, because
Oh yeah.
that's the age I guess these songs will stick more.
Mm-hmm.
um, but though there is so much out there already, is it that it would be better if kids if teachers be a little more creative, because I guess they'll have to write lyrics as per the requirement, or think about how the song could be, looking at what outcome they are looking forward to. So my purpose is with strengthening reading for the children who are yet with not familiar with sounds, letters, blends,
Mm-hmm.
and we want their foundation for reading to stick on. So One is that of course they'll keep listening to it, but the other one what I want to express is the way the teacher sings, like the facial expressions or
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
modulation, like the basically movements of the jaw or the mouth that they are watching.
Yeah,
Will that also help and support? As you said, it's not that just sitting and playing a music and then it's just the
of
listening
course.
listening part of it. So I'm sure that would vary. Like if I'm looking at kids to get familiarized with words and sounds, that would be different. But if I'm looking at concepts per se, then that would be a little different, where they're not literally watching and listening, but it could be only listening.
Hmm.
What's your take on this? Like how would you advise if teachers want to embed? This is more for our learners who may be struggling readers.
Okay, so if I can paraphrase the question so I make sure I answer it right,
Hmm.
how can teachers use music to help teach reading?
Yes, and
Okay.
getting them accurate with words and letters and sounds, basically.
So with the sounds and pronunciation. Yeah, sure.
Pronunciations, yes, yes.
It's so true that, and as you're talking about it, it brings up some other ideas that songs help give chances to practice pronunciation. Like you
Hmm.
said, watching the mouth of the teacher and listening to it. And honestly, it gives a really safe environment to experiment with the sounds. If you put a student on the spot and say A says ah, and all the class is watching, I mean,
Hmm.
that's a lot of pressure for a little kid. Even for adults, like businessmen, they cave under that pressure.
Correct.
But then if the whole class is now singing it together, then or trying to sing it together,
Hmm.
they're really enabled to practice in a way that they don't feel scared. Now, I didn't really answer your question. I just realized I'm just saying it's a great idea.
Hmm.
Um, to it is a lot of work to put words and sounds to music. I would recommend, if you're looking for a specific sound or a specific phonics rule,
Hmm.
go on YouTube and look for it. That's probably the easiest for most teachers. But if
Yeah.
you do have some spare time and you want to try, just grab a very well-known tune, like
Hmm.
let's say
The famous
the
one or
Muffin
something.
Man. Yeah, like do
Hmm.
you know the Muffin Man?
And yeah.
And then take the sounds you want them to practice,
Hmm.
replace the words completely. It doesn't have to make sense. It can be nonsense, just sounds and words
Yes.
together. And
Uh,
then if you have time to make a PowerPoint where you just or put the words on the screen, or make
hmm.
flashcards, or
Yeah.
write the words on chalk on the board, and then you sing it through with them. First, of
Hmm.
course, you'll model it, right? You'll point to the words while you sing it, and then you'll give them a chance to follow along. Let's say line by line. Instead of doing the whole song at once, you can say, "Do you know the Muffin Man?" And then
Hmm.
you signal to the class that it's their turn to repeat what you just said. Do that
Absolutely.
line by line. But yeah, put in whatever you want them to learn. You can put it in there. Does that answer the your question?
Absolutely, Sam. I think
Okay,
that's
cool.
bang on what I was wanting to get a little guidance on it, because
Good, good.
I'm dealing with these little ones and I'm really
Ah,
fascinated with the fact that, um, I am a person who generally does not love to take ready-made stuff. So
yes, I'm the
I
same.
I know that there's a whole lot of things available online, but my attempt would always be to personalize it to my learners, because
Yes.
I feel there's so much, but it would not sink in well when I know my child's need, the children who are
Hmm.
under my care. So I always, though I'm on the experimental phase, I will be taking a risk in that manner, in that context, but
Yeah.
I want to give it a try. So
Yeah.
I am from in that perspective. I don't mind spending time and coming out of some creativity. It might work, it might not work.
Yeah.
That's also there, but at least I'm trying it out, because
Mm.
I like, even when you said about these songs specifically, like, if I know my student is like loves sports, and he loves
Mhm.
football, he loves something that is really close to him, and I want to create a kind of a song where I'm using those kinds of words, and then
Yes.
making him familiarized, like looking at the theme, looking at other stuff that would interest the child. Because as you mentioned, as a child yourself, you were not into songs, right? Music.
Hmm.
Songs
Yep.
could be something that not all kids might enjoy, but they might love listening it, but they might not want to repeat after you, they might not want to sing along with you. So
Hmm.
looking at all those, we have to look at those minor details, which will
Hmm.
directly help us create those learning moments for our kids. And I think one thing I really loved about your approach is that it's the real classroom music that I want to go ahead with our next segment, because
Okay.
you said your songwriting process is very simple and but
Hmm.
powerful, because identifying a language need, research the solution, and then write it into a song. I would
Right.
love to have you take us through an example, and I'm sure my listeners would be listening. And this one example will definitely help us reflect and think how we can embed it in our classrooms.
Yes, yeah, of course. I kind of feel almost embarrassed to admit how simple it is, but for
Yeah.
some reason, no one that I know, except a few examples, actually make music this simple. Let me walk you through an example of a song called "Their Books." So it's one of the songs that I've published recently. Um, so the topic is stationery. We have to talk about stationery. It's classic vocabulary. It fits well with the singular and the plural. What is it? It's a pen. What are they? They're pencils. Those commonly go together. So that's a language need that we needed. And instead of adding content, if you just for example, I don't know your opinions about AI, but if I were to ask AI, write an ESL kids song about stationery that focuses on singular and plural. It puts in textbooks also put in these phrases like open your book, sing with me, come on everyone and dance with the book. Like like it's actually really ridiculous that we're trying to get our students to sing this stuff because it doesn't focus on the content. So what I
Mm,
did was I only got four structures. There's the whole song is just four structures. It's what is
okay.
it, what are they?
Mm,
So the singular and plural questions, and then the singular and plural answers. It's glue. It's a paper. It's a pencil. They're items, right? So
I
it's an
do.
item. They're items. So that's the easy part. You just identify a need, you get some structures, and then the question is, of course, which vocabulary should you focus on? Now, if you have a unit, right, if you're teaching from a textbook, it's really easy. They tell you what they're supposed to learn. You just
Mm,
kind of songify what's there. I was making my own list of vocabulary. So I use a number of methods. I draw from my own experience. I usually
yeah.
envision my own kids. I've got three kids now, 7,
Okay.
5, and 3, and what they actually use every day.
Yes.
And then of course my past students, what do they take to class, that kind of thing. And then I'll jump on a few different AI tools, like ChatGPT or Copilot or whatever, and then I'll
Mm,
ask them like, what do you recommend for vocabulary? Because AI is really good at understanding language as a whole.
yeah.
And then I'll compare the all the lists together. I'll get rid of a few that I don't like, and I'll think about what'll help students worldwide, and
Hmm.
then make a list. So that's the easy part. You now have, I guess I just said there's two easy parts. You have structures and then you have vocabulary. Then all
Yeah.
you do is you organize it in a way that if you can make it rhyme, if not, at least make it interesting.
Hmm.
Um, the problem with stationery, now that I'm thinking about it, this is not a great example to bring up, but nothing really rhymes in stationery. So, I mean, like scissors rhymes with sisters, but that has nothing to do with stationery.
Stationary.
So, after struggling for a long time on this specific song, I just decided I'm going to give up on the rhyme completely. It's like, I'm not going to make it rhyme. And you'll be
Right.
surprised at how many songs these days actually don't rhyme and
Do
you
not
don't
try.
notice it. You don't
Yeah.
notice it. And I think this is a big problem of educational music. They'll often force the rhyme when it shouldn't be there. They'll say something like, what rhymes with purple? How about circle? Okay. We'll write,
Mm.
cut the paper in a circle. Look at this pen. It is purple. And it's like, okay,
Exactly.
that rhymes, but really the kids are learning this is and they are. Uh, that's just over their heads.
Mm.
So I arranged it into this basic structure. It was, what is it? It's blah 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 times 4, and then the pre-chorus is, what are they? So what are they times 2, and then the chorus is, their books, their pencils, their scissors, their books, their pencils, their scissors, and then that repeats twice, and the song is over. So in a minute and 32 seconds, it's like less than 2 minutes. They've practiced asking and answering 16 questions, the same question, just 2 questions repeated 16 times, practicing singular and plural, and 11 vocabulary items, like in 2 minutes. If you ask students one by one, it'll take you 10 minutes and they'll all practice once. So the power is really in the simplicity. All those extra layers you add to music gets in the way of the learning. Now,
Mm.
that's just an example of a kid's song, which is very, very simple. Obviously, adult ESL music, it's much more complex and intricate. It
Mm.
involves referencing the CEFR and
Okay.
intellectually
Yeah.
stimulating themes and a bit of storytelling and that kind of stuff,
Storytelling.
just to get the adult's attention.
Okay.
I'm not gonna walk you through that. That's like that's
But
that's
I
a big
really want you
undertaking.
to sing, Sam, those lines. If you could,
So,
I really want to hear you singing the
you want to hear
song.
me singing? Oh,
Yeah.
please.
If you don't mind.
I can try singing that song.
Yeah, the one which you just
just the
mentioned.
chorus, okay? Just the
Just the
chorus.
chorus, yeah.
But I'm not even a great singer. I pay for other people to sing my songs, okay? Because
No, but
it's not
I
good.
I think you have a very beautiful voice. I
Wow,
don't know
thank you
why
so
do you
much.
hesitate singing, but I am. But I really now want to hear it so that
Okay,
I
just to make you happy, to make you happy. I'm
no,
never
to
shy
make
of.
my listeners happy and understand, that as teachers, look at the multiple hats we wear.
Oh
And
yes.
at the end of the day, we do not hesitate. See, even for you, the passion of you bringing music, writing coming up with your own lyrics and writing your song. Of course, you can sing it also. It's just that you feel that you're not doing justice to it. So you are taking help,
It's
you
true.
know.
It's true. Yeah. No, it is a good point that we're, as adults, we're shy of singing in front of each other. But
Mm.
I learned that kids are so tone deaf. They can't tell if you're a good singer or not. So I'm never shy singing in front of kids. But here we go. So the chorus goes, what are they? What are they? Their books, their pencils, their scissors. And then it repeats. Are you happy?
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. But I really feel,
Clever.
I'm just wondering if I could write one song and, start tomorrow itself on Monday, actually, with my
Go for
children.
it.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm really
definitely do
looking
it.
forward to, get this on board because I think I had one show where we discussed something as called as the retrieval practice. And when I'm looking at embedding the retrieval practice, I somehow feel if this strategy is also added on where
Oh yeah.
before we start a unit or a topic, and if it's done in the form of a song where they at least get familiarized with what they're going to be doing.
Right.
I think, and when we go ahead with the topic itself, as you mentioned, it will be there somewhere that will the words or the meaning might stick on, with
Hmm.
the kids.
Yep.
So, moving on to our next segment, Sam, I think as I mentioned, teachers wear multiple hats. We have a teacher in all of us, and we want to know why does this actually work. So, as I
Mm.
mentioned, retrieval practice, that's one of, again, cognitive, connection to it. So, what's happening cognitively when music enters the learning process?
Right. Yeah. That's like a huge question, to be honest. And we could get really, really deep. When I say we, I mean like doctors can. I'm not really great on the technical side of things. I'm a teacher, not a neuroscientist. So a lot of things are happening in the brain, and I'm going to keep it simple because I'm simply not qualified to talk about it. But there's a number of areas in your brain that do lots and lots of things. I think, yeah, that's all I can say because I'm going to get in trouble if I say anything else. It'll be wrong. So I think if we rely on our personal experience, that'll be good enough to make the point. But then I'm also going to get to how, like, making an illustration of how it works. So if you're up for it, we can do a little experiment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Are you willing to try it?
Yeah, I
Now
will
that
try.
you've made me sing, you actually have to say yes.
Yes, yes, I am all set. Tell
Okay,
me.
so I'm going to listen to what I say. Are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Da, 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 da. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, my question is, how many das did I just say?
Oh my God, I did not count. Wait, I'll just give it a guess. Maybe 12 times.
Okay, good guess. You're kind of close, but that was difficult, right? And as soon
Yes.
as I asked the question, you were like, "That's impossible. That's absolutely ridiculous."
Yeah.
Our brain can't handle that type of challenge. So let's try a different one. Okay,
Okay.
are you ready to listen to this one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Ready, ready.
I hope so. Da 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 da. Okay, same question. How many das?
13.
Oh no, very close.
Okay, 14 it was, I guess. I don't
Da,
know.
da, da. Oh no! I tested this before with other people. It's so try to go over in your head.
Huh. I da 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 10.
Da da da. Okay, so it's actually 12.
Ah,
I know
12.
we're both on the spot right now, and like everyone's listening to us. We're being recorded. It's kind of
Mhm.
like, deer in the headlights. I totally understand that. But
Yes.
the difference between the two is, um, okay, the first one was 11, so technically it should be easier. The
Mm-hmm.
second one was 12, but your brain finds it a lot easier. Like, you can actually repeat the second
Correct.
one, I
I
think.
could literally
The first
repeat.
one, you couldn't even like try. You were just like, I'm not even gonna attempt that.
Yes, yes.
So what's happening is, and this is content that you don't even know what it means, right? Okay, that word is Chinese for big. So I literally just said big, 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 but it didn't matter. You didn't have to know what it means.
Hmm.
So there's two things, the way I understand it, that
Hmm.
makes music work really well. It's engagement and memory. Now,
Okay.
it's much more fun to listen to me say da 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 than da 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 da, right?
Correct. Yeah. You have a
And
little
then
tune to it, maybe.
exactly, and it's
Yeah.
it's easier to remember. So
Hmm.
when words are put to music, our brain is
Ah.
generally more focused because it sounds nice, but it's actually engaged because it's paying attention to timing, intonation, tune, and other things that I'm not qualified to talk about, in addition to just the sounds of the words. Now it
Hmm.
sounds like, so far it sounds like, oh no, that means my brain will be working harder. But
Mm-hmm.
but this is what's happening. There's a few sections of your brain that are focused on language, making sounds of words and processing languages. Just a few sections of the brain.
Okay.
But then there's a bunch of other sections of the brain that do secondary supporting tasks. And when the music comes on, you trigger those other sections of the brain. And those other sections they're like little assistants that are helping in this room. Like, imagine every section of the brain is just one person, and you've got three of them doing a job. And
Okay.
then all of a sudden, the music turns on, and then five others stand up, and they're just assisting. Like, oh, here's a pencil. One holds up a sign, and another one gives instructions. So they're actually assisting those three who are processing the language. So in other words, just to put it another way, we call in mental reinforcements to assist to memorize faster and remember longer while we're enjoying it more. But it's really important to make a slight distinction, or actually
Mhm.
it's a big distinction. The music itself doesn't teach the meaning of the words necessarily. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually teaching the sounds and the structures of the language. You can, without visuals, the meaning isn't taught. So that's why we still teach the meaning. And I said earlier, you can't just replace all your teaching with music. You still have to teach meaning.
Correct. Yeah.
We do that with focused presentation and activities. Or you can use songs with videos. If the video is well made, it teaches the meaning of the song.
Hmm.
Now we all know that's true because my kids can sing "Ring Around the Rosie." Like my
Hmm.
3-year-old loves singing "Ring Around the Rosie,"
Yes.
and she heard it like 4 times. Now she can sing it, but she has no idea what it means at all, and she won't understand until she's in her teens or even more because it has a whole lot of historical significance.
Yes.
So music helps us memorize and enjoy the sounds, which is the heart of, not the heart of language, is the foundation of language. Without learning the meaning, it doesn't help that much. So I would say I would always recommend you use the sounds, the
Mhm.
music, in addition to flashcard presentations and
Yeah,
things
so
like
that it
that.
supports. Yeah. Absolutely.
Exactly. And you could also use songs with videos. But I
Hmm.
would say this: it's an easy trap for teachers to fall into,
Hmm.
only using songs with videos. The problem with only using songs with videos is that you see what happens when the screen comes on. All the kids become zombies, and it's very true. And they also
I can completely
they're kind of
relate to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're really spoon fed the meaning of the song, so they're less consciously active in figuring it out.
Correct.
So I do use videos and I recommend them, but I
Yeah.
also recommend also use songs without videos
Yeah.
because that pushes them to actually listen and try to process and try to figure out what's going on. It's a little bit more of a challenge. So I would use
Mm.
both.
Absolutely. And when you mentioned about something that just stuck on me, I said I will speak about it, but I will just take a short ad break right now
Okay.
and I will come back to it because I want to know some magical moments that have happened in your classroom which you can share with us. And I
Sure,
think that
sure.
would be like our last segment. Yes. We have a lot to do. I think we can go on and on with the topic. Yes, I'll tell you what came to my mind. I said, as adults, also, like sometimes I listen to some songs. It would be in a different language, like specifically Arabic. I might just pick up the words, I might pick up the tune, but I don't know what it means.
Yes.
But I'll keep singing it. And then later, this is the way I learned a few words in Arabic.
Mm.
So later, when I was keen on, I was humming it, I was listening to it, I was enjoying the song, but then I had this keenness to know what it means. So I put on the transliteration and check what the words literally
Hmm.
mean. And then when I came to know the song with its meaning, it like it really had a different impact because
Hmm.
just singing with not knowing, and once you know what the song really means and what impact it would have,
Hmm.
it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
So I think it would be same with the kids. Like even if they've, when you said you may start a unit with the song, but when you start teaching it, they themselves will find the connection to it, right?
Yes. Yes. They love
Yes,
it. They love it.
they would love it. Yeah. So we'll just take a very short break, Sam, and then we'll be
Sure.
back and we'll continue with our questions. And I'm really loving the show. Thank you
Cool.
for
Cool.
being
Me
so
too.
interesting and engaging.
It's
Yeah.
a pleasure.
This show is brought to you in partnership with Hachette Learning, publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. Level up your professional development today and visit hachetlearning.com to explore the full range of titles.
Teachers, have you heard of Bet UK 2026? It's the world's biggest education and technology event, and it's completely free for educators. From keynote speakers and panel sessions to CPD accredited workshops and networking, Bet UK 2026 is where educators from across the globe come together to share ideas, spark inspiration, and find solutions that fuel our mission to drive better education globally. Get your free ticket today at betshow.com.
So that was a very short break. Sam, welcome back. And now I would just go on to our next segment, which would be our last
Sure. Sure.
segment, but we will sum it up all together. One
Okay.
would be share, like I would love to hear about some classroom moments, times when your songs really changed how students responded or learned. And
Mm.
also, we would love to know some practical tips for teachers. My listeners are listening and waiting to know what actually they can do. Like, know if like before we wrap it up, how teachers could create, write, and start using music meaningfully in their ESL lessons, and anything that you have to close up the show for today. So over to you,
Sure,
Sam.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to keep that in mind. It's a list of things. So the first thing is times that music changed my classroom. And
Yes.
at first, of course, it changed me first before I could make it work in my classroom. But I'll give you an example of recently. I have a 7-year-old that I teach one-to-one online, and
Okay.
he's one of those cool dudes. You know, he wants to be cool all the time, and
Hmm.
often he's not very interested in my activities. And I opened up in the next activity, which was a song, and I was like, oh no, this it's not going to fly. And I almost skipped it. And I said, you know what? Let me give it a shot. If he doesn't like it, then I'll skip it. But let's try it. And I
Hmm.
showed him how to do it. It was a very simple song activity. It was just a list of words, like no structures, just words in orders, like ice cream, cookie, rice, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I showed him how to do it, and then I let him do it. He didn't do a good job. He was like, okay. I was like, yeah, you did fine. Maybe next time. And then I went to the next activity, and he interrupted me. He said, no, no, again. His English wasn't good enough to say, go back. I want to try again. All he could say was,
Hmm.
no, again, again. I was like, the teacher inside of you, when a student asks again, like you just light
Yes.
up. I was so happy. And he was engaged, and he learned that vocabulary so well. He made me do it 3 times. And then I said, okay, and it's time for us to move on.
Correct.
But there's also group classes that it matters to. I can't give you
Mm-hmm.
the whole story because of time, but I had
Mm-hmm.
this really, 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 really bad class. And I'll be honest, I'm going to blame the previous teacher because they gave the class to me because the previous teacher kind of ran the class into the ground.
Oh,
I'm not gonna name anyone, but then I was left with
name.
cleanup. That's what you get for being a good teacher. It's like you get punished for being a good teacher when you're at a school.
I can completely relate to this.
And everything I was trying, man, I couldn't get anything out of them. I couldn't get them even to say basic vocabulary. I said, you
Oh.
know what? Let me just switch to a song. And I'm talking, those early stages of taking over the classroom. Let me switch to a song, make them stand up, and see what happens. And I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was surprised at how, they start moving their bodies like they're actually responding. And
Mm-hmm.
then later they start trying to speak the words. I was so happy. And they never really fully recovered, but that was something that actually worked. And I was so relieved because you pour out so much energy into these types of students. You just pour and pour and pour and pour. But then when the song did it for me, I was able to take a little bit of a break and see some results. Adults are a bit different. Um, we can't go into too much detail there, but I will say this: that if you recommend good ESL music to adults, like for homework, or even you assign to your class, say, guys, go learn
Mm-hmm.
this song for homework, then they get so excited. They're like, wait, what? I can learn through
A
music
song.
because the average adult these days listens to like 3 hours of music a day. It's really insane. And if they can actually learn, if they have the right music, then they get quite excited about it. It's like a shot of adrenaline
Mm-hmm.
for English learning. I'm pretty sure you asked more questions. Oh yes, okay. Practical tips for
Yes.
teachers. Yes. Um, my biggest and first tip is always teach the song. Don't just play it. And what I mean by
Yeah.
that is you drill it line by line. So the first time I play it, and then everyone gets to listen, they're just sitting down. I say, okay, let's stand up. And then I play, pause. Or if you're singing, right? If you're singing, then you can sing a line, have them repeat, sing a line, have them repeat, and teach them to be able to sing the song. They love it. I've seen too
Mm.
many times where music is played to the students, but the students aren't actually using it. And then the second tip would be to live the song, act out every line you can with TPR. If you
Great.
like, just act that like you're in the song and you're doing it. So if you get up in the morning and brush your teeth, you're acting it out as big and as excited as you can. Then they'll follow along. Even with adults, like they're very shy and very scared. But if they see you at the front of class, letting
Hmm.
go of that, restriction and just acting out the song, they at least they enjoy watching you. But lots of them will enjoy getting involved.
Getting involved, engaged.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then,
Mm.
so that's two tips. A third tip I would say is revisit songs. Don't just use it for this unit and then let
Yeah.
it disappear. What I like
Yeah.
to do is, if I'm going to do a review activity from a previous unit, I
Hmm.
transition from the current lesson. If you finish like 10 minutes early, it's like, okay, cool, I can review something else. I transition to the other unit by playing the song. It's like, everybody stand up, let's sing the song. And then I play the song, they sing the song, and then I do the review activity. And
Hmm.
it's like smooth as butter. All the language was recalled and they remember it really well. They performed the activity. It was like they never needed to review. And they
Absolutely.
did really well. So recycle old songs. You'd be amazed at how excited they get. You can even ask them, like, hey, what song do you want to sing? Put four on the
Mhm.
board, they choose one. They get so happy. And then just enjoy it. Fourth tip would be enjoy the music. Don't try to be too professional. You can
Mm.
enjoy music and be professional too at the same time.
Yes, yes,
You did ask. The next question was writing your own music, right?
yes.
That one's basically just follow the formula I gave.
Yeah, the questions
So
I think you said. Yeah.
right. So you open up the textbook if you're teaching from a textbook, and you look at the target vocabulary and grammar. It's usually at the front, in the scope and sequence or the can do
Yes.
statements or something like that. And
Yes.
then and then I usually write it in a notebook, like on a piece of paper. And then I just look at it for a while. I read over the words and I look for rhyming words. And
Yeah.
then and I try to reassemble everything into a rhyming fashion.
Hmm.
Uh, I can't give you advice about making music because I am so bad at music myself. I have to pay other people to do it.
Yeah,
But
but
if
I
you
think,
have any friends that are good at music,
yeah, I
just
think in
ask them.
schools we can definitely take help from the music teachers when we have to add music
Yes,
to it. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So be good friends with the music teacher. Sit next to them during lunch break.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, music teachers themselves will lend their hand because music is their passion too. When you just come up, because I know of my music teachers and colleagues who are really, so very supportive. Even if we have to do a function or something and we come up with ideas and we say that just add some music to it, they'll be readily available to support and help. So
Hmm.
I think that that shouldn't be a kind of a barrier to go ahead with songs in music in lessons,
Mhm.
curriculum based music basically.
Right,
And
right.
I really loved my key takeaway, Sam, from you is that I love the way where you mentioned do the songs, but may at times do not have videos along with it. Let get the kids act it out, engage them in it. And also the flashcards, I think with the little ones that works brilliantly well. So if we have a song and we have it accompanied with flashcards, that is something I think would really support learning
Mm.
for them. So Sam, I think today's conversation really hit the right note. And i'm so I'm so glad, but I know initially there was this fault in technical glitch, but we
Yes.
sorted it out. And we've learned that music isn't just a filler for transition time or circle time, but it's a teaching tool, a memory
Hmm.
anchor, and an emotional bridge. I think down the line I knew this because many a times I have been trying to create songs for my students for behavior management. That is one thing
Mm.
I think is there, where we keep reiterating a few expectations. And while they keep listening to it, they tend to implement it as well. So I have been trying it from that perspective, but not from the curriculum perspective. And
Mm.
we'll look forward to doing this. And to everyone listening out there, if you've ever seen a student's eye light up when singing along, you've already witnessed what Sam calls half the teaching done by the song. So, and now also recently in my school itself, we are doing this musical production, and my children are so very glued. They are so excited with the song. And my batch itself, we did, like, I have done multiple songs so far now throughout the year, whether it's for an assembly, whether it's for the enactment in class, and other things. The one thing that I really connect when you spoke about the science behind music, like the example that you gave with me, so how much they've heard and the way they come up and they perform so beautifully, that's like something every student will be able to do, because I know when little ones can do, all kids can do it. So whether they are high achievers, high flyers, low achievers, I'm sure songs do have an impact to every learner. So, any last notes, Sam, you want to tell our listeners? And I'm going to be sending some lyrics to you as well, where I will
Oh,
keep you
sure.
it,
It
and
sounds awesome.
would need some guidance as to if it's going to go well or no. I'm going to do that. So, I'm sure you'll readily be available to
I
support me.
love it. I always tell people, say, send your ideas and your lyrics to me. I just love it. It's super fun.
Yes.
Uh,
And
I
it's
don't have
always a
anything
learning.
else.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add. I just want to say thank you so much for hosting me. I really enjoyed talking to you about this, and
Same.
you've been an excellent host.
Same. Yeah. And you've been an excellent guide for us today. I think this topic would reach far and wide, and it needed this platform to reach most of our educators. Really, thank you, Sam, for sharing your story, your songs, and your soul with us today. And to all our teacher listeners, remember, the next time you plan a grammar lesson, maybe add a little rhythm to it. So thank you, Sam, once again, and thank you, listeners. I do generally take listeners. I did have many online, but your topic was so engaging, Sam. I must tell that I just wanted to keep hearing to it and wanted to ask many more questions. And I think we've given a lot to it, and you've done justice to the topic as also. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Same to you, Sam. This is Famida Choudhary signing off from Teachers Talk Radio. Until next time, keep teaching, keep inspiring, and keep learning with joy, rhythm, and heart.
You've been listening to Teachers Talk Radio. Tune in live and listen back at ttradio.org. We look forward to hearing from you next time on Teachers Talk Radio.